Do y'all like my thumbnail, or would you prefer like standard knitting thumbnail where it's like, this is me and a project? Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany over here at ChicKnit Chronicles. I started this channel to try and figure out what my style is and to share what I'm doing with my knitting and create a community. So if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new, glad you decided to give me a watch. Mostly what we'll talk about is knitting. Every once in a while we'll foray into other things. But as of now, I guess that's where we are, and we'll get started. I have a couple of finished objects to show you. I have a couple of whips and a couple of new things that have arrived. We all like fun mail. So please excuse if you hear some background noise. I did try to make sure the mic was working, but my toddler has discovered tantrums, so that's fun. But also, I want to say thank you for those that have showed back up. I know that I took a bit of a break, and I appreciate you giving me some grace in regards to that. I had I lost my dad. He passed in the last month, and it was a shock. But yeah, what do you say about something like that, right? Um, it's been rough. I've been managing. Um, Grief, as some of you may know, is not linear, unfortunately. It comes in waves, and sometimes those waves have really taken me out. I have been using a whole lot of distraction in order to help me manage. I have been making sure to feel my feelings when they happen, but it definitely knocked me off kilter there for a while. And I just honestly did not have it in me to film, let alone edit. So therefore, I didn't have it in me, y'all. Um, and I appreciate those of you who are coming back even after my hiatus. Um, we over here, we're doing okay. It's one day at a time, right? It's not perfect, it's not magic, but it's an ongoing process. So I'm doing my best to work through it. Um, that being said, I wanted to make sure that I did come back and knit because I have started to develop, come back and film, excuse me. But I wanted to do it because I have started to develop a community with you all. And my dad really enjoyed watching my videos. He didn't know what I was talking about, but he enjoyed watching them and supporting. And for that, I'm forever grateful. So, first up, um, we have my finished sweater number 9 light by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And since finishing this, especially being in the midst of a Pennsylvania winter, I have worn this sweater a lot. It came out very nicely. Y'all let me know if you want me to do a deep dive into all things about sweaters, like just dedicate an entire video to that. And then also maybe some styling tips on how I chose to style it, or the varied ways to style it. I've been thinking a lot about trying to make sure that the pieces that I'm making serve multi-purpose, that they don't just go or work for one environment, that they can do different things. So y'all let me know if you'd be interested in that video. I know that was a tangent. So my sweater number 9 light is made of fingering held with mohair. The fingering is, I can never say this right, so I'm going to look at it. Meadowcroft Dye Works Rock Shelter Sock is the base, and the color is Mass d'Afrique. And the mohair is Rowan Kid Silk Haze in their dark brown color, which is called Bark, and I believe the number is 678. Um, Honestly, this sweater came out just right. It's nicely oversized. It's a nice shade of brown. I try to stick more to either actual like gold or like brown. Tan, it's a little too on the nose. You know, it's just a little too perfect match. So I try not to wear tan shirts in general just because I feel like it washes me out, makes me look sick. And like, who wants to look like that, right? So the raglan, it's raglan style. It's got the pattern is actually written to be an actual turtleneck, but I chose to do mock neck. I figured I didn't need the extra weight, especially given that it was mohair and it's warm enough. Um, but it's been great. I wear it all the time. Um, Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Unless you guys really want me to do a deep dive. There isn't really too much I can nitpick. I think the yarn combo worked pretty well together. It is comfortable. If you are someone who does not like, you don't like the feel of mohair or you're allergic to it, obviously you're not going to be wearing it. But like Rowan, while it's not rough, it is not the softest mohair I've ever used. Like it doesn't prickle, but I definitely feel it. And the fibers that I feel are not quite as soft as some of the other mohairs that I've worn. And but again, mohair doesn't bother me. So if it does, then and if you're really picky about mohairs, then this might not be the one that you want to use. But I really enjoy the sweater. It works. It comes just below my hip. Um, Hopefully, I've managed to take some pictures of it. Every time I try to go outside to take pictures, it's so cold. Like, it's so cold, y'all. And I have not figured out a good setup for taking pictures inside at home yet. I've experimented, and personally, I don't quite like it just yet. So hopefully, I'll figure out, a setup that works for me pretty soon so I can just take my FO pics inside instead of having to find somewhere outside to do it in the cold. But yeah, what are you gonna do? But so far it has been great, and I think I knit this in just under a month. It looks like it took me about 3 weeks to make. Um, I enjoy it. I love a good stockinette sweater though. Like cables are great and lace is cool, but like I like I like my stockinette. It's great TV knitting. It's comfortable. It's versatile. I don't know. I just love it. What can I say? Okay. And my other FO that I have with me, I have two other FOs I'll talk about, but I have one more with me. And this is my TENZEN sweater. Oops. I didn't weave in all my ends. I thought I had. This is my TENZEN sweater. And the sweater is great. The sweater is warm. This sweater is a drop shoulder design, and I think it was actually the first time I've made this particular construction where you start with kind of like that trapezoid shape across the back, you knit to the bottom of the armhole, and then you pick up each front. um, Hopefully that wasn't really loud on the mic, sorry. And then you come back and knit the collar. I did end up doing a Italian bind off for all my bind offs. Can't remember if that was in the pattern or not. And I am so mad I did not take a before blocking picture, because you would not believe how much this fabric relaxes after it's been blocked. And I did a full on wet block. Like I dunked it, soaked it. I even spun it in the washing machine to get the water out. I was terrified. I was terrified the whole time, but it worked out. It was fine, but it's really nerve inducing. I did not do a split hem on it, but the sweater is so warm. And if you watched my winter knitting plans that I did early January. Um, my plan had been to actually knit another bulky sweater. I think it was the Adorable Mila sweater. My plan was to knit that one as well, but when I thought about it, I was like, well, we know that we're moving this year. I don't know if I told you, but I'm a military wife. We know that we're moving this year, and we don't know where we're going yet. And what if we end up somewhere warm? And then I'm going to have all these bulky sweaters that I can't wear. So I decided to hold off on casting on that sweater, even though it is really pretty. And I do think others should make it. But I am really glad that I did make this one. This one can definitely serve as a outer layer without a jacket, depending on your climate. It layers really well. It's it's so soft. This is made out of Wool Folk Fleck Bulky in the color number 1, which is off-white, and it has these little bit of tweedy bits. And I like it because they're not too like loud and in your face with the tweed. The flecks are quite small, and very evenly dispersed. So that was nice. I recently looked at the projects that some people were starting to make, and I almost wish I'd gotten the black because the black looks really nice. But who's ever going to have a problem with a big white sweater, right? Nobody. Like it's a nice, comfy sweater. Like it can be styled up, it can be casual and styled down. It's really fun. Okay, and then my other two finished objects that I got some pictures with, not the best pictures, but I got some pictures with before they were gifted, was my Musselbrugh by Isolde Teague. I'll put it on the screen. I was knitting that out of Hedgehog Fibers Pine, and it came out really, really well. I was making it for my mom, who was taking a trip to Canada and, wanted something to keep her warm. And she loved it. It fits her well. I think I have a picture of me wearing it, so I'm sure that's what I showed you. But it came out really well. It came out to be expected. The fit was good. It's nice and warm, and because the way it double folds on itself, it does like fold up nicely and keep her ears warm. So she's really excited about that. She's actually in Canada right now and wearing it, so she's happy because my mother is definitely someone who runs cold. And the second finished object I have is the Dauntless Scarf by Vesuvius Crafts. I made it out of Malabrigo Rios in their natural colorway because I thought it was a really good match for my Musselbrugh hat that I made for my mom. And I ended up gifting her that scarf also to keep her warm on her trip to Canada. It did get finished, and I just did not get a chance to take pictures of it on being worn before I gifted it to her. But I do have a picture that I've probably popped up already of it done. I rolled it up in a little croissant and everything. That was fun, trying to figure out how to do that. And then I have like a picture of it full out. I really like it. I can see why this style is really popular in the sense of I like the really shallow triangle that it creates. It's really warm and it's so squishy in that garter. So much so that will segue into my whips because I cast out another one. So, I'm stuck. Okay, so after I finished the first one and it was gifted to my mom, I was needing something mostly mindless that I could have on the needles. And usually in that situation, I will have a sweater. I think we talked about this before. I'm not much of an accessory knitter. I mostly am a garment knitter. But I really just like the pattern and I like the way it came out. So I cast on one. I cast on one in red. This is Malabrigo Rios in Ravelry Red. And it's a really good red. Malabrigo makes good reds. Like this red is good, and then Cereza is also really, really good red. But I'm on the second, so I'm on the decrease. I'm headed down. Um, Finished my increases and got my point in the middle, and then I'm headed down the other side. I have decided that I want to make myself a matching hat. So I probably will cast it on. I haven't decided if I'm gonna make another Brooklyn beanie by Tori or Manhattan, Brooklyn. Neither. Brownstone, Brownstone beanie by Tori Yu. Um, I haven't decided if I'm gonna make another one of those, and then make sure I make it long enough so that it sits up because I really want it to sit up. Or if I'll just do Musselbrugh because it's tried and true. I haven't decided yet. What do y'all think? Which one do y'all think I should make? Um, but yeah, so that's where I am with this. This has been my comfort knit. This has been my keep my hands busy knit. It has been really, really clutch, and it's definitely something that I needed right now. Um, yeah, and I really enjoy it. Like, y'all should make this scarf. It's a good one. Okay, so whips. I have a new cast on. You haven't seen it. Okay, I'm gonna do my old whip and then I'm gonna do my new cast on. Okay, so my old whip is my zipper sweater. It got resurrected and it's coming along really nicely. Move that out the way. Okay, so I have, maybe this will be a thumbnail. Okay, question. This is a tangent again, I'm sorry. Do y'all like my thumbnail, or would you like prefer like standard knitting thumbnail where it's like, this is me and a project? You know, like, which is more appealing to you? You know, I forget to take thumbnail stills, which is how I ended up doing the ones that I was doing. Um, you know, YouTube is new. I'm still figuring it out. I haven't got my patterns yet. Anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, back to the subject at hand. This is my zipper sweater by Petite Knit. It is being knit out of, I can't remember. My brain is not working very well. Like, I can't remember anything recently, so forgive me for moving slow. And it's being knit out of Treehouse Spruce Sock in the color Everlasting. That's what I thought it was. Everlasting is the color. And it is being held double with Biche Bouche, very light pink. And the yarn separately, I'm going old school. I got a Ziploc bag, y'all. I got project bags everywhere, and they're mostly filled with whips. So this is Biche Bouche, very light pink. It's blowing out a little bit. That might be better. And it's being held with Treehouse Everlasting. Remember how we talked about cool, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it, and I went through like this weird phase where I was like, I'm making another cool colored sweater, but then I decided I didn't care. Part of me, to a certain extent, wishes I picked like a darker mohair, like the Knitting for Olive, like I think it's like a dusty rose or something kind of color. But I do like it, and honestly, what renewed my fervor to knit this sweater was I was running errands one day and it was cold, and I threw on a quarter zip that I gotten from Costco, and when I was wearing it, I was like, see, this is why I need to finish knitting my quarter zip. And then I could be wearing my own handmade right now. So that's when I was like, Tiffany, finish your sweater. So I picked it up, and I want to say the last time you guys saw it, honestly, I'm not even sure if had divided for sleeves by then. I'll have to go back and look. I'm not sure. But I am going to put a progress keeper, though. I presume the next time you guys see this, the body will be finished, and I will have at least started sleeves, if not finished them. We're not going to talk about how I'm still terrified about the zipper. I've just decided that I'm going to cross that bridge when I get to it. So if you all have any tips on like what I should definitely look out for when it comes to sewing in the zipper, like, do I just go by yarn? Do I sew it in with the mohair? I mean, go by yarn. Do I go by thread? Because I don't have thread. I've never been a sewer. Or do I like do I sew it in with the mohair? Like, I know that there's a video. I know that the lady who makes the petite knit instruction videos, apparently she has one on how to install the zipper. I have not watched it yet because I know that I'll just obsess over it. So I'm just waiting until I get there. But if anybody has any tips and tricks on how to get that zipper in well, I'd appreciate it. Thank you kindly. But yes, it's coming along really well. I think it's really pretty. To be a nice light pink. It'll be good. I will actually tell you when we get there. I'm considering making another one. Another the light version. So zipper sorter light, but this time holding fingering double. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So that's that. And then my other whip is a new cast on you haven't seen, and it is in my late model fringe supply co bag. It is my, it's kind of balled up in here, wasn't it? My caramel sweater, also by Petite Knit. I didn't realize I had two Petite Knit whips. Huh. Anyway, so this is it so far. It is in Vicious Yarns Happy Yeti, which is the blue fingering. And then it is in Biche Bouche medium blue for the mohair. And it's the Le Petit mohair because they also have the Le Gros mohair, which I think is DK weight. So far, I am really, really liking how it's knitting up. And it's really wrinkled. Sorry about that, y'all. But I did make a boo-boo. So I was just doing my distraction knitting, and in my distraction knitting I could not be bothered to alternate skeins. What I told myself was it would be fine, the mohair will disguise any changes. That was not true. That was wrong, and it made me mad. And it's also what made me slow down because honestly, if that hadn't happened, I probably would be finished with the body of the sweater by now. Okay, so I don't know if it's going to show up well on camera. Can you guys see that line of demarcation? Like right there. Like it goes from darker to lighter. So what happens was I finished the first ball. It was lovely. I was obsessed with it. Still am. Like, and I am not a blue girl, but I was very excited. And then I just wound the second ball and started knitting. And I kept looking and I was like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I stopped looking. And look what happened. I ended up with this light blue stripe. And it's probably, given where it's hitting, it'll probably end up being underneath my boobs. So it should hopefully be less visible. That's funny. My busty gals, they understand. But what I did do was I wound the third ball and I started rotating. So you can kind of see where like I have like this light stripe like right here. And then about like right here, you can see it starts to get a little bit darker. Can you see that? So yeah, I haven't tried it on. I have a really bad habit of not trying on my sweaters until they're done. I'm pretty good at this point at just looking at them and being like, oh, it's fine. It hasn't failed me yet. I'm sure it'll bite me in the butt, and I promise to tell you about it when it does, but it hasn't failed me just yet. Oh, this is actually the front. And I feel like the line is a smidge less noticeable on the front. Like you can still see it. It's like right there, my second ball. But then again, you also can see like where it gets a little bit darker because I started mixing in the third ball. This is also my fault because I did not wind all of my yarn when I got started and then look at them in the skein and look at them wound up. That's what I usually do. Most of the time. Most of the time I do that. I'll wind them all, especially if I suspect that they are going to be wildly different. I will wind them out of the hank into the yarn ball and then like look at them and then kind of like plot how to fade them. And I didn't do that. My mind was elsewhere. So I literally just wound it up, cast it on, and went. I couldn't be bothered for my usual processes, and hence the light stripe. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I do think that by the time I finish the body, it will be less noticeable. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that where this will hit, it will mostly be in the shadow of my underboob. So I think it will be fine. I think it will be fine, and it won't be hugely noticeable. But I want y'all to hold me accountable. If at the end, if it is not nicely hidden under the underboob, I want someone to point it out. I want you to be like, remember how you said it was going to be hidden and it's not hidden? That's what you get for not rotating skeins. Because it is. It's what I get. I knew better. I knew better. Especially like a wildly variegated yarn. Come on now. I knew better, but I didn't. Helical knit you're knitting, y'all. And I know that sounds scary, but it's not. It's not. You want me to tell you what helical knitting is? Okay, so you start your new yarn and you go around 3 stitches, sometimes 2, before you finish, before you get to the old skein. Just stop with the yarn you're currently working, slip those 3 stitches, pick up the yarn from the previous skein and knit in the round. So what happens is you're moving backwards around your knitting like this, and it's creating a more even flow. And it's not scary. It at times can be fiddly. And there are moments where it doesn't necessarily work quite that easily, like when you're knitting like a cardigan or something like that. But like, helical knitting is worth the fuss. Oh, you guys want to see the skeins? So you can see how this one is lighter than this one, right? And if I had wound them, you also see how tight they are. It's fine. If I had wound them appropriately at the beginning, I would have noticed I had 2 dark and 1 light, and I could have plotted it. And what I would have done in that particular situation, if I had 2 dark and 1 light, or 1 dark and 2 light, is you start with the one you have the most of, right? Which would be, in my situation, it would have been dark, right? So I start with the dark, I get myself through the collar, and slow, or maybe the short rows. Typically, I don't like to helical knit before short rows if I can help it. It just gets fiddly. I would start with the dark. Me, personally, Tiffany, will finish the short rows, and then I'll start helical knitting, right? I'll add in the lighter one. And hopefully, as you go down, it will just get evenly dispersed. And then because you started with the dark, you'll finish with the dark first, right? So then you pick up your second dark, which would have been your third ball, and you keep knitting with the lighter. And then that way it's completely even all the way through. And what some people like to do, and when I first started knitting, I used to think these people were neurotic, but they had a point. The yarn that you start your yoke with, you should try to save some of it for when you start your sleeves, because especially if you're knitting a top down, especially a top down raglan, because when you come back and pick up the sleeves, you might end up with a line of demarcation right here because that was the first skein, right? So in this situation, I would have saved a little bit of my first and then come back and knit with the first and mixed it in to go down. That way I'm getting a gradual fade as I go down the sleeve, right? So it's just an idea. You do not have to be that neurotic about it. If you are someone who wants it to be as close to perfect as possible, it's worth the effort, right? But also, we're here to have fun. We are not here to make ourselves like antsy and anxious over knitting. We're supposed to be enjoying this. And it's not something that's supposed to create anxiety. It's supposed to relieve your anxiety, okay? So don't make yourself nuts. Just sharing a tip on what I know I should have done, but did not do. But it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Oh, and mohair shot. That's all of them. So right now, and I was going to try to helical just the fingering weight and not the mohair, and then I realized that was annoying and frustrating, so I'm just doing them both at the same time now. It was just too fiddly and annoying, so that's what I'm doing with that. I am excited to wear this with jeans because I'm going through like this like monochrome phase, where like I want everything to be like the same. Where did that come from? I'm not sure, but here we are. But yeah, I definitely am going through a monochrome phase. So I'm very excited to wear this with jeans. I'm very excited to wear this with like navy blue slacks. I'm very excited to wear this with some sort of cobalt blue bottom. Um, this is a rabbit hole. I can't, oh my God, green. Do you see those little bits of green? It has to be a thing I do. I need green pants. Oh yeah, when this is done, I promise you there will be some green pants. Okay, monochrome and color blocking. Okay, it's okay, both. It's fine. It's fine. Do what I want. Okay. Those are my whips. Yep, those are all my whips. The whips you don't see that I talked about in my first episode that I did not talk about now is because I haven't made any progress on them. My sweater number 29 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Haven't picked it up. Have not been in the headspace for things that require paying attention. I can manage a raglan increase and stockinette. I cannot manage something that needs me to pay attention because every row for 8 rows is different. I can't. I do not have the bandwidth right now. I will circle back to it though because I do want that sweater and I do think it'll be really nice, oversized and draped. So I'm looking forward to that. I can't right now. And my cozy classic that I was working on, I can't find my size 6 small circumference circulars. I tend to knit sleeves on 12-inch circs. Pro tip, if you have problems with laddering, don't like or afraid of DPNs, or hate magic loop, get yourself a 12-inch circular, okay? One size up from whatever you used for the body, right? So if you used a 5 on the body, for the sleeves you need a 6. Something about knitting on a smaller circumference, you need a bigger, you knit tighter, so you need to go up one size, okay? Those are US needle sizes. I don't have the millimeters committed to memory. But yeah, pro tip, 12-inch circular. Not the 9. The 9 is too small. I know some people use 9 for socks, but like it's too little. I feel like this. That's how I feel with 9-inch circs, like this. But I can handle the 12-inch circ. And generally speaking, the 12-inch can get me all the way through the sleeve, and I'll go down typically to the standard ribbing size. So like if I am knitting the body on a 5 and the ribbing was on a 3, I'll knit the sleeves on a 6, up one needle size, but then I'll still go back down to the 3 for the ribbing. In my experience, it's fine for me. But yeah, and typically I'm fine using a 12-inch circular from the, I mean, the stitches are they're a little squished until you start decreasing. But generally speaking, for me personally, a 12-inch circular is fine, even through the ribbing. And I know this is a big drapey sleeve, but even in my smaller sweaters, like I even did it on my Cozy Classic, and that's fingering weight. I was fine with a 12-inch circular even through the ribbing. So pro tip, if you're curious, struggle, whatever. I also find it makes it easier and faster because I don't have to keep changing. Another pro tip for those who do use magic loop and have a problem with laddering: stop leaving the loop between the same stitches. Move the loop. What does that mean? Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you on this because it's right here and it's still out. Okay, so like, you know how when you're doing magic loop, and no, this is not a sleeve, it's the body of a sweater, right? If you're doing magic loop and you've got your loop pulled out, right? When you finish that round and you're done, take a second, pull your loop in, and then move it somewhere else. Grab a new random combo of stitches and just pull it out over there and knit. And then that way you don't consistently have the same spot where your stitches are stretched, which is what's creating the ladder. You're stretching your stitches, right? So if, your only option for now, for whatever reason, is to do magic loop, just try moving it. I know I saw someone online that was like doing like this like rotating thing, and I don't know what that is. I've never tried it. Mostly because when I have to do magic loop, I'm okay because I move my cable. But I want to say it's Patty Lyon. She did a video, something about moving. It's like some sort of rotating magic loop thing. I don't remember because I wasn't going to do it, so I didn't commit it to memory because of the way that I do it. But it's an option. Just move where you pulled out your yarn. It'll stop the ladder. Because like, why does it have to be in the same spot? It doesn't. So when you get to your opening, pull your needle and just pull the needle, the cord back out in a different spot. And so what if you've got 10 on this side and 30 on the other? It's fine. You knit those 30, you pop it back in, and you pull it out in a new spot. It doesn't have to be equally in half. It doesn't. It's just an idea. Try it if you see that laddering is a problem for you when you're knitting. Okay, acquisitions. I've had fun with acquisitions. I got a very nice late Christmas present from my husband. He's very sweet. I was telling him how I didn't have, we'll get into that. I'm going to do the things I can stay sitting down for, and then we'll do that. Okay. So first, Treehouse posted that she was having a sale on some stuff that she had still in stock. So I got, I'll tell you why I got it. Hold on. So Treehouse announced that she was having a sale on some overstock kind of things that she still had in the shop that had been sitting. So I had been talking to a friend about really, really wanting to make, like I'm entering a color work phase where it's like I really want to knit some color work, but I haven't decided exactly what I want to knit. It's a process. Anyway, so I really want to knit Sheep Camp Sweater by Jennifer Berg. I know it was really popular. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I was not in a colorwork phase then, and I didn't want to knit it. But I do now, and I think this as the color work on a natural colored sweater would be lovely, especially for spring. I'm starting to think for spring, so this will probably be on my spring intentions list. But who knows? I'm erratic. I might cast it on tomorrow. But so this is going to be the color work, and my plan is to knit the body in off-white natural beige color. And this is her color Bibliophage, 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 Phage, Phage. Anyway, by Treehouse Knits on her Dove DK base. I haven't yet decided on the main color yet, other than knowing that it's going to be natural. But yeah, Bibliophage, Dove DK by Treehouse Knits. I just think it's really pretty. Wouldn't that be nice with like a off-white beige sweater? Like body? Wouldn't that be pretty? So yeah, that's the plan. Sheep Camp Sweater by Jennifer Berg. And then I also got in the same sale tree houses. I got two colors on her spruce sock. This is Underworld. It's really pretty navy. It's really pretty navy. And then this is Alabrije. Alabrije. I think it's Alabrije. It's just lovely chocolate brown. It's so pretty. If you know anybody that has an extra skein they're not going to use, please send them my way. I will gladly buy it off of them. But for this, I want to do also color work, fingering weight color work. And I have two options for color work, I think, for this. One of them is something by Unwind Knitwear because her color work patterns are epic. And I just think this will be just a lovely combination, the two of these, in one of hers. Rachel Isley of Unwind Knitwear? Yes, Unwind Knitwear. Um, she does epic color work, right? And I have been terrified to do an all over color work sweater, right? Like high key afraid of it, like really, really afraid of it. Want to, but afraid. Um, and especially in all over color work and fingering weight, like that just, it sounds excessive, right? So because of that, I was thinking maybe I could make specifically Baroque Nouveau. Um, and I really like it because it's still a very large color work section of color work, but it's still and visually impressive, like in the sense of it's striking. And I think with this kind of contrast, you'd really be drawn to it. Um, mm, Sorry. The all over color work option would be Ola's Tundra, also by Unwind Knitwear. But for that, I need another skein of the brown. I have enough of the blue, but I need more brown. Um, I would love to make that with this. Like, that would be beyond epic. It's terrifying, but it would be so epic. I'd love to make that. Um, and alternatively, my other option for this would be, I think it's pronounced Anunsha or Anunsa by Jennifer Steingass. I think the like this would be pretty, and like that's also finger eight pattern, and I do have enough for that, and I could just make it short sleeved. Um, I had planned on making that in like gray and coral a long time ago. I should probably do that. I still have the yarn for it. But this would also be a pretty option for that as well. So one of the two, we'll see. It's not something that's on my immediate to cast on list, so I have some time to see if I can source the Alabrije. So we'll see. But I love these. Aren't these colors just rich? Isn't that yummy? God, and that navy blue is going to be so cute with some dark blue jeans. What are you going to do, right? Okay, and then I got this from Explore Knits. It's called From Her Leave No Trace. I guess she was doing a sale on basically just clearing out the rest she had on her stores. And I had put, she had it broken down by like, fuzz on my lip, mohair. She had it broken down by like, I guess each person in their shop kind of like created like their own theme. And I was wanting something moody. I'm not gonna lie, like I tend to prefer um, richer, deeper tones. I tend to prefer like jewel tones specifically. Um, but so when I got this, and I want to say this is like that. I like when it came in, it doesn't have labels on it. So like the colorway, I had to like go stalk her page, and I want to say it's like Gumwall or something that she had done. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this? Because it's not, it's while very pretty, it's not really my colors, like not really my jam. But I have a plan. If I take this and I hold it double with this. This is Miss Babs. It is Katahdin. This is a light fingering that she sells in these absolute mega skeins. This is deep stash. Okay, this is very deep stash. And this colorway is called Spicy Papaya. And this hank is 1,750 yards. Or for those of you who do the metrics, 1,600 meters, 439 grams, 15 and a half ounces. If you're not familiar with Miss Babs, she also has like a very large DK with it. She calls those yowzas. I think those are like 560 yards. Anyway, neither here nor there. So my plan is, and I just realized I was crackling, and I really hope that wasn't a problem for y'all. But if I hold these together, I feel like I will just generally get a coral sweater. Yeah, like I'll just get coral, and that'll be cute for spring. Yeah. So this is my plan, to knit another zipper sweater, the DK version, zipper sweater light, the DK version, and just hold these two double. No mohair. So it'll take me further into spring and into summer without having mohair. I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but mohair is not a summer fabric to me. People keep putting it in t-shirts. Have I talked about that? I think I have. Why do people keep putting mohair in like short sleeve t-shirts? It's hot. Anyway, I'm not going on that tangent again. So that's my plan for that. So, because at first I was like, why do I buy mystery skeins? This is why I don't do mystery cows, because I'm too neurotic. Maybe I have control issues. I don't know, but like I need to know what I'm making before it just appears. And then I have a couple more things that I got. I'm very excited about. I got myself some timeless knit. This is Sorry Nordland's book. It finally came in from Stars Hollow Yarns. Yay. And I'm so excited. I can finally make my Clio. I don't know. Can you see it? No, you can't see the yarn from here. It's up here in this cabinet right here. I showed it to you, the pink. I'm going to make Clio in pink, and that was in here, so I could not cast it on until my book arrived, but it's here now, so that's very exciting. It actually came in while I was out of town, and I have not even cracked the cover yet. But when I saw it, I was very excited. It's a very nice quality. Like, it feels nice in the hand. Like, I like the texture that she picked. But yeah. This is gonna be good. I'm very excited. Oh, it smells good too. In this digital age, I haven't smelled a book in a long time. Anyway, so yes, I got Softly Timeless Knits. Very exciting. So I'm trying to hold off on casting on anything else. Until I finished at least something, because that's what happened. Okay, so I finished this sweater, I finished my TENZEN, and then I finished my my hats, my Musselbrugh, and I finished the scarf. And then, in addition to life being chaotic, I had to cast on something, and that's how I ended up with my caramel sweater cast on, because I kept trying to make myself, you want to knit so badly, go finish something. That's not what happened. It's fine. I mean, I'm not bothered by it, but like, I tried, it didn't work. And then I have two more things to show you that are not entirely knitting related. And then I'm going to bounce back to something that's knitting related because it requires I stand up. So I want to finish my sitting down stuff first. So these two things are not knitting related, but you guys tell me if you're interested and or care about such things, and we will or will not include them going forward. So since I got married, and I always could cook, I just was never huge on it, but I have been cooking a lot more. And I've always been a baker. I've always been like the one in the family who would bake a cake from scratch, including the icing. Like, I enjoy that. But my very analog husband thinks it's hilarious that who he claims, I'm a very digital person. I'm not. I just can work a fire stick. He wouldn't have even had one if it wasn't for me. But he's very analog. But I went and did something that was very analog. I got an old school write it down recipe book. I'm so excited. Does that make me a nerd? I don't know. I don't care. If it does, I don't care. But I've already started, like, the things that I know that I like and that we like as a family and that the baby likes, I want to have them all in one place. I've even already started harassing family. I got my Aunt Sheila's sweet potato pie recipe, because anyone will tell you, outside of maybe Gigi. Gigi made it. Hey, Gigi. Her sweet potato pie is to die for. It's probably one of the best you ever had. So that was one of the first calls I made. I said, Aunt Sheila, I need the pie recipe. So she gave it to me. I haven't actually made it myself. The last time she was here and we spent some time together, I was with her while she made it and I was paying attention. But she did her best to write it all down. And obviously, when it's a home cook who's doing it from memory, a lot of things are to taste. You know, put this much to taste. So I'll have to figure out where my to taste is. But there are some other recipes in here that I have collected and we've enjoyed eating as a family, had been requested multiple times, that kind of thing. So I was very, very excited to get a recipe book and start writing them down and filling out the cards and totally nerding out over writing down recipes. It's been fun. And related to that, recently, I have also, for some strange reason, been obsessed with making madeleines. So I got a tray and I found some recipes and I'm going to make madeleines because I don't know why. I just am. So, well, I am because every time I go to the store and I see madeleines, I buy them. So I like to bake, so I could just make some. Um, if you want a really good ginger cookie recipe, M to the third during her Vlogmas, she she posted a ginger, I think she called it a ginger molasses cookie recipe. So good. Very easy to make. You should definitely do it. And don't cook them more than 10 minutes if you want them to be chewy. If you want them to be crispy, definitely cook them longer. But if you want them to get to be chewy and to stay chewy, 10 minutes. Okay, now for the thing that requires me to get up. My very sweet husband, I was telling him how I didn't have a yarn swift and winder. And because he noticed that I would wind by hand and, him not knowing anything about knitting, was just curious, asking questions. And I was telling him about how I needed a new Swift and I just, the one that I wanted was really pretty, but like, you have to wait for it, they have to be put on a waiting list or whatever. And he ordered it before Christmas. It didn't come in before Christmas, but that was fine. But it came in, and I had been wanting to do an unboxing with y'all to show you, me getting it and putting it together, and then everything happened, and I just didn't have it in me. I even saved the boxes so that I could do a pretend, like this is an unboxing. I don't have it in me. So I'm just going to show you my very, very beautiful Stanwood Swift. There's gorgeous wood. It is handmade and carved. And I also got I ordered one of the extra large Swifts. I'm not Swifts, winders, because when you have hanks like this in the stash, those little baby winders are not going to work. Okay, they're not going to work. You need a big boy to handle a hank this size. And I'm actually really excited to wind up this hank. Not that I'm going to do that anytime soon because I am not making this anytime soon because I have other things on the list. But I'm going to show you my Swift now. So this is my Swift. And isn't it lovely? Do you see this winder? Look at this winder. Look at this winder. See how big that is? That's totally going to handle my giant 1750 yard hank. But it's lovely. It holds the yarn, it winds very nicely. And what I'll do is I'll put in a clip of me using it. I'll put in a clip of me winding up actually some yarn from my my zipper sweater so that you guys can see it in motion. But I love it and it is beautiful. He did good. So that being said, thank y'all for hanging out with me. It's been an interesting time, life can sometimes really throw you for a loop in ways that you are just unbelievably unprepared for. Um, but you do the best you can, and you manage. You keep going. Um, that being said, I appreciate you all for being here with me, spending some time, hanging out, seeing me, all the yarn I've been playing in, and what I've been up to. And I will see you all next week. Don't forget to let me know if you want me to do a deep dive into any of my recent finished objects, my sweater number 9 light, my TENZEN sweater, anything that you saw me put in my knitting cabinet. If you want me to do a deep dive into that, we can do styling tips, any of that. If that's interesting to you, or if you're curious, absolutely let me know. But otherwise, if you give me a like, comment, subscribe. If you hit the bell, it'll let you know when I upload. That would be great. But really, all of that does is help my channel grow, and I appreciate you for being here. And I'll see you next time.